best in radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Well, you got to wonder what is going on in this country. I sure don't know, but maybe Joe Messina does. Of The Real Side, Joe, great to have you back. How are you?
Well, thanks for having me back. I'm fine. And I don't drink enough to know what's going on, because I think that's the only way you can make sense out of anything, right?
Yeah, well, maybe I got to take up drinking seriously now. I'm just kind of a Chardonnay with dinner type guy, and maybe serious drinking is in my future, because when I look at a story like this Cadillac commercial, and, you know, at one time, you know, still, even with the demise of General Motors, Cadillac health plan, you know, Cadillac as the standard of excellence. And yet when you run a commercial like it, all of a sudden the mainstream media has their collective panties in a bunch over it, right?
Oh, in a bunch. These guys went nuts that we were trying to sell American exceptionalism. Look, the commercial, if you watch it, basically the guy comes out and you know, he's in his home. He's got a nice home. It looks like he has a nice family. He's talking about America and how great it is that, you know, you work hard, you stay focused, you do the right things, and you can become successful. You can own a nice house. You can have a nice family. You know, America offers all kinds of opportunities. And this is the way he's talking all the way through the commercial. The end of the commercial is he starts to get into his Cadillac, and he says, you know, in Europe, they take like a 1 month, all of August off. And, you know, he goes through all these things they do in Europe. And then he says, I'll take my 2 weeks. And he's a little smirk, and he gets in the car and he goes. So in other words, I take 2 weeks off. I work hard. I'm here in America. I have all these opportunities. And you can have a nice house, a nice family, and a nice car. What is so bad about that?
Yeah.
And the lamestream goes nuts. MSNBC and those places talk about how this guy's obnoxious, okay, that we shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. This is arrogance to say that this only happens here in this country. These people forgot the Great Migration coming here was so people could have a better lifestyle. They did have an opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, people came from all over the world. My ancestors came here from, you know, in between pogroms in Russia and Poland and various other places. Your ancestors came here, Joe. And the fact is, there's a lot wrong with the country, and the middle class is under attack, under assault, as our friend Wayne Allen Root says. But the fact is, opportunity still exists. And if you have a job, and if you do work hard, you still can maintain a certain standard of living. You know, what's so wrong with that? And the fact is, in Europe, they do close the continent down for the month of August. I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, that's the fact.
Yeah, what is it? Not only that, don't they get a siesta of some kind every day for 2 or 3 hours? I mean, it's amazing how much time off these people take. They're taken care of by the government. And think about it. You don't have to worry about your retirement because you're going to be taken care of. There's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing. You don't do anything to make sure that you and your family are going to be okay in the future. I don't know what that breeds. It can't breed anything but laziness.
Yeah.
Again, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but man, that to me is real basic common sense kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it just, and that's what the current occupant in the White House seems to be aspiring to. And certainly the Secretary of State, John F. Kerry, wants us to become more European in our outlook and in our work ethic, right?
Yeah, and I think you and I discussed this before, where it was really funny. For hundreds of years, we're, you know, the Europeans, people come to this country because they want to be more like Americans. Other countries have taken on similar kind of laws and things like that compared to America because they want to be like America. They want to be like the United States. Now you look at the new administration that's going to fundamentally change the way we think, the way we operate, and they want us to be like they are in Europe. They want us to have a crumbling economy. Well, hey, good job, you're there. Okay, they want more people with unemployment. They want more people dependent on the government. So far, they're what, 3, 4, 5? They're 100 for 100. I mean, they're right on with what they're trying to suck us into.
Yeah, they're doing great. And Cadillac as a auto mark, as a brand, had more innovations than virtually any other car out there. The self-starter, before you had the self-starter where you pushed a button inside the car, you had to go out with a hand crank, and thousands of people were injured. And not to mention the fact when it's freezing outside, like in the Northeast is today, it's 15 degrees, you got to go outside and crank the thing up to start it. I mean, could you imagine doing that like nowadays?
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you just take it for granted. And, just people don't understand that. Climate control, they introduced heated seats, Twilight Sentinel that automatically turns the headlamps on and off, telescoping steering wheel, so many other things. So
you had me at heated seats. That was good right there. Where do I sign up? Oh, and this administration that was so supported, by the unions. Speaking of the auto dealers, the auto dealers now, or the unions now, are turning against them as well. Did you hear about that? They're pushing back now and saying, look, we need more subsidies because this new Obamacare is going to be pulling, like $5 an hour is what they figure it ultimately what the cost is going to be. It's going to hit their average worker at $10,000 a year. Now something's, they made fun of government math under George Bush, but I think the president was out there saying this would save the average family about $2,500 a year, when it actually, in essence, is actually costing the average family. I think the number I saw was around $3,500. But if you're in the union, apparently it's going to be about $10,000.
Hey, well, you know what? The unions aren't getting any RSPECT, Joe.
I got to go back to school because there's words that I don't even understand anymore. And apparently, I was taught how to spell incorrectly.
Weren't we all? And all I know is when Dan Quayle misspelled tomato, man, it was on the headline of every single newspaper in the country. Big guy in the White House misspells respect, and it's a non-story. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Well, yes, right. Got to make us look like jerks. And look, remember when George Bush would always call it what? Nuclear.
Nuclear.
He never said nuclear. He'd say nuclear.
Nuclear.
Is that what?
It's hard to say it. And it's hard to missay it.
And that was a big deal. And right? I mean, President Kerry mispronounced the word properly. Well, give me a break. This guy can't spell. He thinks we have 57 states. No, really? Come on.
Actually, Joe, is 58 states, but he had visited 57 of the 58.
You see, he's got me so confused.
Keep your states straight here, Joe. Come on, Do you know how many states we have?
Well, apparently it keeps growing. Watch that jaywalking segment. You still won't know how many states we have.
Yeah.
When Jay Leno used to go out and he'd ask simple questions like that, how many states do we have? How many stars on the flag? I mean, you want to pass out at that point.
Yeah, well, I'm still in mourning, though, Joe, because one of our cohorts, our colleagues in the lamestream media, he just couldn't cut it. His show's been cut. You know who I'm talking about, right? Weren't you sad?
I do.
Weren't you really sad?
Listen, Jerry, prayer works. This is my proof that prayer works.
Of course
we had a prayer vigil to get rid of him.
He's gone. Do you believe it? Like, that just proves that eventually the market really does work, Joe. Proof that market economics works.
Maybe that's why they hate capitalism, huh?
Yeah. Well, you see, if CNN was getting their proper subsidies from the Ministry of Truth, he'd still be on the air, wouldn't he?
That's right. Oh, God. I forget stuff like that goes on because it's been going on here for so long that I forgot it still happens. But you're right. I mean, look, at liberal news, liberal media, liberal talk shows, they don't work. They never have. You know, I went to CPAC this last week.
Oh, you were there?
Oh yeah, I was. Look, I went the first day. We were hot. We were on it. I lost my glasses. I had a couple of interns with me, and what I do is, as people walk by, I was like, grab that guy, grab that girl. You know, that's so and so. Get him over here, kind of thing. I'm on Radio Row there. Well, I lost my glasses on Friday, so I couldn't do it. You know, but Saturday turned out to be a really good day as well. But I got interviewed by a French newspaper, and they were just, this is a phenomenon to them. They don't have talk radio there. And he said, why do you think that is? And I said, why? Because you're all liberals over there.
Everybody knows everything.
Yeah, I said, liberal radio doesn't work. You won't find it here in this country. You won't find any successful programs. Now, you'll find liberal radio talk show hosts, and they're sprinkled through different stations, and they're usually with conservatives.
And we're going to talk more about this up next on the Financial Survival Network.
Urgent alert. Ex-Secret Service agent claims it's worse than people know. One of Obama's former Secret Service agents recently smelled a rat. What he discovered inside our government was so devastating, he only saw one option. He quit. What's worse, he fears what he found could affect your job, your neighborhood, and most importantly, your family, very soon. It's worse than people know, he said in a recent interview, and I'm not trying to scare you either. We too share his concerns. This is why we've devoted the better part of 3 years collecting solutions for nearly all problems created by intrusive governments, and we've succeeded. Go to hiddensecrets1.info to check out all the details. Our panel of insiders have devised a legal but sneaky set of solutions to help you reclaim your privacy from the NSA, opt out of Obamacare, and make a bundle from little-known investments and small business opportunities. Simply visit hiddensecrets1.info. That's Hidden Secrets, the number 1.info.
And we are back with Joe Messina of The Right Side. And so, Joe, tell us more about CPACs. So these French are just astounded by talk radio, you're saying, huh?
Yeah, and the French, I got interviewed by the Danish. I mean, there was a bunch of European journalists there, and they were taking, the biggest thing for them wasn't CPAC in and of itself, but they came to Radio Row and they came, how does this work? Why do you have so many talk show hosts? I said, well, we have a lot of them because all of us think that we're smarter than everybody else and we need to get the message out. That's why we have so many. But the reason it doesn't work in Europe, I said, is because you guys are so liberal. And again, here in this country, over and over and over again, you see how the liberal talk shows, they don't work. They never make it. There's nothing to stand on. There's no foundation to liberalism other than anything goes.
You know what it really comes down to? I've thought about this too, is because when your liberalism's all based on feelings, I feel this, therefore it's true. I feel that, therefore it's true. Now, I won't say that everything that conservative or right-wing talk radio says is true. But what I will say is when you hear talk radio show hosts from the right make a case, generally they will make it based on logic, on reason, and then you can go about trying to rip it apart and tear it to shreds. So you're actually getting dialogue, debate. There really isn't debate on the left side because if you don't agree with them, you're an idiot. You're stupid. You're evil. And there was a study done, and I can't remember. You might remember who did it recently. It was college professor, legitimate attempt at a study. And what he found was that basically conservatives looked at liberals and felt that they were either misguided or stupid or both, and that liberals looked at conservatives and felt that they were evil, venal people. And he didn't check libertarians like me and probably you, Joe, but we just basically looked at them and shook our heads, I think. I think that would be the final. You know what I'm saying? But isn't it true? Yeah, and I
remember that. It was a well-known and respected college. I just can't remember which one it was. And you're right. Very true.
It looked like good methodology on the survey, too. I always take those surveys with a grain of salt because they're really attempts to make news so often, right?
Yeah. No, very much. Yeah, bring attention to a college or a professor or what have you. But again, go back to what we were talking about earlier. You always hear the left scream about the Koch brothers, the big corporations, how they're for the Republicans because Republicans are for the big corporations, the Democrats are for the little wee people that don't stand a chance. Well, let me tell you something. The SEIU has 200. They claim they have 265,000 members, and I don't know if people realize this, but the SEIU is a corporation. Okay, they're a company. They run a company. And at 265,000, if you take the average union dues, let's say it's $30, because I know if you're a grocery worker, it's a little $12. If you're, in other occupations, it could be high as $60 some odd a month. So let's just take 30 for a number. These guys, producing absolutely no product whatsoever, make $90 million a year. Mm-hmm. Okay, so at $90 million a year to start with. That's not bad to have to put money out for campaigns, to put walkers on the ground and that kind of thing to get your people in. And on top of that, I don't know if you heard, Trump came out and said they're going to throw $300 million. The AFL-CIO is going to throw $300 million at the next campaign.
Wow.
Talk about buying an election. And these are the people that are screaming about the Koch brothers, right? They're and the latest, not the survey, but when they do the numbers as to who puts more money into candidates and the parties and that kind of stuff, they came up 57th on the list of donors to political causes.
Yeah, yep, I did see that. And Logic eludes the left. That's the new book, right? Logic eludes the left. I love it. I love it. That's great. That is great. Logic does elude the left, and not to say that the right doesn't have its foibles for sure.
Yeah.
We know that. We know that. And there's a lot going on with that as well. The right, the Republican brand is deeply tarnished, and the amount of theft that went on during the Bush administration and what's going on with the military contractors and corporate welfare and all that's been enabled by the Republicans in Congress, they are not free of blame for the decline of the United States. They've been
not at all.
They've had a vital role in it. So we can't trust either party is what it comes down to here. and I'm reading this book right now by P.J. O'Rourke. You know him, one of our favorite authors, and it's called Don't Vote. It just encourages the bastards. And, that's really what he goes into is, they're both no good, both parties. And until we free ourselves of these parties, there's little hope for the country, is there?
Oh, you know what? And let's not get the misconception that there's only two. You and I both know there's, what's the 6, 7, 8 parties out there, and they don't. There's the Libertarian Party. Wayne Root was part of it for quite some time.
Sure.
It's just that people get this mindset that that's all there is two parties, and it's not even a party thing anymore. And I really see it as a management style. We've got some moderate Dems that are very much the same as a liberal Republican. And the same basic ideas. So it really are management styles. It's the way these people approach things. The problem is they don't stick to what they say they're going to do. Yeah. And to me that amounts to lying. If somebody is lying about something, you can never trust them to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's simple. Vote them out. Vote them out. Stop putting boneheads back in there.
Yeah. And we see this over and over again, like the class of 2010, the Republicans who got elected in the House of Representatives, they didn't do anything because they let this Boehner guy, they let this Boehner guy just push them into doing everything, and they became enablers of the Democratic agenda, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that agenda is. Just spend us more into oblivion and just race the country down the drain. And what have we gotten?
If I was a Democrat, if I headed up the Democratic Party, I would say, let's back off and let's blow the 2014 election. Let the Republicans have the Senate and the Congress, because they'll blow it, and in 2016 we'll get all three back.
Yeah, there's a good possibility of that.
That's what I would be doing. That's what I would be saying. Let them have it. They're going to be so excited. They're so pent up. They get all this energy. They have no self-discipline whatsoever, and they'll blow it. We'll be back in 16. We'll have the presidency, the Senate, and the Congress. Yeah.
So you believe Hillary in 2016? I have my doubts about this one, Joe.
I know. You know what? Unless they can get the heat, I mean, come on, her and her husband, God and goddesses, right? I mean, and unless she does something extremely wrong, or we could get it to stick, because it seems like this crew that's up there now, this crew, they can do a lot of things wrong, but nobody believes it or pays attention to it. I don't know which.
I don't know. I think there's Hillary health issues. And the other thing, Joe, is if it was going to be Hillary Clinton, I think it would have been already. She's wearing those thick glasses, usually a giveaway for some type of brain issue. And she's looking really worn and tired. And I just don't believe it's going to be her. I think she's a red herring. And
really?
I think there's somebody else in the wings we don't know about. And, you know, I'm looking here at the Daily Caller. There's, you know, she fell, she passed out, she had a blood clot in her brain, and now she's wearing these thick glasses. That's always a giveaway for a stroke or something, you know, Joe. I'm not trying to feed the rumors. I'm just conveying the rumors that are out there. But the other thing is, if it was going to be Hillary, it would have been Hillary in 2008. For some reason, it never became Hillary. You could say Obama cheated her out of it. The Chicago thuggery, which is, you know, it's the party of the Democrats, is the successor to Al Capone, you know, and Lucky Luciano, right? I mean, let's face it, that's where that party evolved from, Prohibition.
Yep.
So, but I just don't think it's going to be. I don't believe it. I think it would have been. And Roger Stone, GOP consultant, tweeted recently, Clinton is not running for health reasons. He's an insider. Whether he's full of it or not, you can decide. Joe, just tell us where to find you and your show and your website.
Well, if you hop up on the website, therealside.com, you'll be able to find out, you know, stations, times, and how to hear the show on a regular basis. We actually broadcast 24/7. I don't know why, but we do. You can get that up on the website.
All right. And of course, link on the financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. It's sent out weekly. We got something about vanishing cash. Where is it all going? Well, very few people use cash nowadays. You notice that, Joe?
We don't have it to use, Kerry. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, well, even if you do, the ATMs, the vintage of cash that's out there. But read the newsletter. You'll find out. Joe, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure.
I always have fun with you, Kerry. Thanks for having me on.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.